This is Spare Parts, your show for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Stephen Cleary, Sean Cavarella, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Welcome to this episode of Spare Parts. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
Happy I got through with it. I got through with it laughing. What? I'm sorry when Steven interrupts when I first try to do the intro, and then I just stare at his face and just makes me laugh. I'm sorry it took a while.
Ouch.
I just didn't trust him.
Fair enough.
I knew he was going to do something else.
You're smart to do that.
Anyway, friends, how are we doing? How are you doing this week?
Fantastic. I can see the finish line of the year.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I spent my entire weekend making 115 cookies.
What the
Jesus.
shit?
Why?
Yeah, because at work we're having a cookie exchange and I overcommitted myself and decided I'm going to do sugar cookies and decorate them all. And I'm going to make them Grinch themed. And I regretted that decision after day 3 of making these cookies. It took me 5 days to finish everything.
Wow. Okay. One, put that much effort into the podcast, please.
Rude.
Okay, your face there is priceless. Just wide open. What?
So rude, man.
That's a lot of cookies.
It's a lot of cookies. I'm hoping to have extra, so maybe I'll share. I'll ship to Markham/Whitby.
Okay, I can make that work. I'm okay with that.
Right. Just get Sean to courier it by himself.
No.
You lazy fuck.
No, if I curry it, you're not going to get any.
What do you mean?
Fat fuck. I'll eat it. Not lazy
yes.
fuck.
Steven, the solution is to not live in Whitby.
That's true.
It's too late. That will not be rectified anytime soon. So
How's the market going for you, buddy?
I hate it.
Good job. Anyway, I'm great this week. My cat came back after 3 months of being away.
Yay! We're so happy.
So,
It's a happy moment.
3 months, cat was outdoors, living her best eat, pray, love life, and finally came back. So,
I'm
Heavy emphasis on the praying.
100% sure that she was not living her best life. She looked
no, she's lost a lot
like
of weight.
she's seen some
No, it's just her usual look.
stuff. Really?
She's always had that look.
Really?
Yeah.
No, she looked extra terrified.
Maybe. But anyway, she's home now, so that's good. Anyway, so
Excellent.
this is a racing podcast. So we are going to talk 2022 as a whole. Kind of talk about our favorite moments, favorite storylines, maybe favorite race, least favorite race of the year, and go over all that. But first, before we start the fun stuff, there's some news we got to talk about.
Yahoo.
Yes, we do. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
Taylor, you can start with that one. I know you want to say it.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Go ahead.
Binotto is leaving Ferrari. So long farewell. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Goodbye.
That's not the Ferrari breakup I thought we were talking about.
Oh, and my second one was also Love is Dead. Charles and Charlotte are... Is it Charlotte? Yeah, Charlotte. Broke up. So he's back on the market, and he's single ladies out there. Shoot your shot.
I already tried to slide in those DMs. I'm already blocked.
Shocker.
Hey, sending a bunch of dick pics apparently doesn't do it for him, so who knew?
No, you
Don't
have to
think it
send a
does it for
banana.
a lot.
Ah, well. Fine.
Maybe a banana hammock photo.
Oh, I was just gonna go
Never know.
tattoo my junk as a banana. Then that might work.
No, I don't think it.
And
definitely
the 3 people that listen to this podcast have now pressed
Anyway, okay.
pause.
So Binotto's gone.
Yes, thank goodness.
And second to the breakup part of Charles and Charlotte. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
We do not speculate on people's personal lives in this show, so let's not touch that.
No, it's over. Who knows? This isn't what TMZ.
Yeah. The fact that he even made a story about it, though, is kind of like, obviously, there's probably some good terms there.
Well, they said it was mutual, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like it would be so hard to be in a relationship with a race car driver.
Oh,
I don't know.
I just imagine someone at Ferrari. Like,
Oh my
the
gosh.
physical, emotional trauma they had to deal with.
I hope Charles is investing in therapy in the off season because I feel like Binotto has just put him through it.
But he's out, so therefore it's all good.
I'm hoping that this also means that there's going to be an overhaul of the strategy team. So fingers crossed.
Yes. So there is no word of a replacement yet, but the long-time rumor of Binotto being out is finally true.
I can sleep at night.
What, to get the melatonin?
No, I can be at peace now.
Oh, okay,
Knowing
that's
that
fair. That's
Ferrari
fair.
might have a chance.
So yeah, no Ferrari. Well, I guess no more Binotto at Ferrari, and we'll see where that leads to. I still like the Frederick Vasseur rumor.
Mhm.
Yep.
I really like that
would
one
be
too.
that'd be not my number one pick, but we'll see where that goes.
Who's your
Yeah.
number one pick?
What? Mine?
No, Sean.
I said Frederick Vasseur. That'd be my number
Oh,
one.
sorry.
Pick.
I heard he wouldn't be my number one pick. I was like, oh, okay.
No. 100% would be my
Okay.
number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or bring back Arifa Bene. He was fun.
I think he just left Juventus.
Did he?
So, yeah, both owned by John Elkman. That's something I learned.
Interesting.
Interesting.
It'd be funny if Vasseur came to Ferrari and Arifa Bene went to go take over the Alfa Romeo. Alas, we will see.
We will see. There will be a lot of off-season
Shenanigans.
movement. Shenanigans, movements, all of the above.
Like what we're set right now going into 2023, how much do you think will change by the time the season starts? Like, will some driver or something make a racial slur while streaming Twitch? Who knows? Will someone have some allegations come out against them? Who's to say? Maybe someone's country will invade another country, so they're not going to be on the grid. At this time last year, what we thought we knew was not what we went racing with in 2023. So
No, not at all.
it is going to be a fun few months to figure all that out, but in the meantime, what we have now is what we have.
Yeah.
I will bet it's not what we started the season with, though.
Probably not. I think that's a safe bet considering the last few years and what we've seen. So the off season's always weird. Something always happens. What that is, TBD.
Yes. Okay, and in other news, actually I have some IndyCar news that came out this week and some big news coming out today. Starting with the bigger news, which I think is more important, is that they're ditching their 2.4 liter engine that Chevrolet and Honda were going to do, and they're going to stick with the current. They're going to stick with the current 2.2 and just slap a hybrid system on that going forward.
Boo.
That's a solid boo.
IndyCar is a boat without a rudder right now.
Yep, this series is no fun.
It is just stuck in a circle and it can't get out of it. Like I tweeted today, like I want to believe in Roger's leadership that he can do something to bring this series out from the death spiral that it's in. But there is something to be said about they're playing everything as I would say like as easy as possible. Like they're taking zero risks. They're making the safest bets they can do, all for money, just to say, like, well, how can we maximize our money? How can we maximize car count? But at the end of the day, it's not pushing your series forward. It's just keeping it where it is.
Yeah.
And when you see F1 take leaps with a brand new car formula this year, NASCAR with brand new cars, the IndyCar chassis is 10 years old. Like,
how do you expect to grow? Like, how do they expect to grow the series and the fan base if they stay stagnant? Like, you can't do that. Sports are always moving forward, and you have to move forward as a series, or people lose interest because it's the same thing every year.
You need relevance.
Yeah.
And if your series isn't relevant, it's not worth it. And I know the relevance of the series comes from the 500, and that's what bankrolls the series. So you want to have a good car count for the 500 for everything else. But at the end of the day, you still have a series. You're not just putting on one race. You put on a whole season. You still want to then grow your audience for the season. Because if you grow it for the season, you'll grow it for the 500 anyway. But
yeah, it's sort of becoming like the FIFA, NHL, and basically any EA title that gets released. It's the same thing. We're just going to rebadge it as the current year. Yeah. Did you guys change anything? Well, we made a slight little tweak here. You know, we've updated the rosters. Other than that, no. And you're still charging us the same amount, if not more? Yes.
That is a great analogy.
Cool. Yeah,
that is a great analogy.
Like, we didn't talk about the schedule when it came out because there's nothing to talk about. It's all the exact same.
Yeah.
There's no difference. It is frustrating to see a series that like I enjoy IndyCar, but I would also like to see it grow. And I would like to see different things in IndyCar that's not just the same thing every single year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the playing it safe, and the series has been playing it safe since 2011. And since then, it's just, what can we do that's the safest thing, that has zero risk, and we're going to go with that. We don't want to do something that, like, they tried to be risky with the manufacturer aero kits. And actually, that was a great time in terms of just, like, Indy 500 racing and the season. It was pretty fun. Yeah, it had dirty air issues because hella downforce, but those were some fun times with those manufacturer aero kits. Yeah, it costs a lot, but it kind of also helped propel the sport to where it is now, where there is tiny steps you can see them making, but they're just not grabbing hold of what is just there for the taking, it seems.
Yeah. Super disappointing.
The worst thing is, though, it's the becoming irrelevant to other players in the automotive industry. Your partners are Chevy and Honda and Dallara. That is it. You are becoming a regional formula now and no longer becoming a national series.
Yeah,
I think IndyCar has to pick between one and the other.
Yeah. There's just a lot that IndyCar needs to figure it out. They can't play it safe. They just have to just take a risk. Do something. Just do something. Pick one, go with it, but don't kill yourselves trying to remain relevant.
They don't want to take a risk to piss off the engine manufacturers they currently have. They don't want to say, hey, we're going to implement, open up, have multiple chassis now, because they have such a good partnership with Dallara. They don't want to ruin that partnership. So they're tied with what they've created, and they're not going to move away from it. So it's just unfortunate that way.
Yeah, well, somebody needs to do some evaluating. Is that partnership really worth it? But well, here's hoping that maybe in the next few years, IndyCar decides to take a leap. But what other news do we have sitting from this week?
Fun news, sort of, but that is that Jamie Chadwick is finally leaving the W Series and is coming over and will drive in the Indy NXT. I don't know, whatever the hell Indy Lights used to be. Still,
Indy Next.
it's a stupid name for a series. I still can't get over how you blew that. Like, okay, did you see the thing where IndyCar was looking for a new like head of marketing?
Yeah, I saw like a couple commentators making jokes about that on.
Is that because they blew the NXT thing?
I would hope so.
Like, did the guy come up
That's
like
not-
spend millions and go like, okay, we're gonna call it IndyCar NXT. Meanwhile, there's already a WWE NXT.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
fucking basic research. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad that guy's fired, but I feel bad for the series being called NXT.
Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue. It's kind of stupid. Anyway,
Okay, so Jamie Chadwick going to the NXT. What are your thoughts on this?
like, yay. Okay. I'm happy that it is a woman in motorsports. 10 out of 10. I love that.
There's a but.
I'm not a huge fan of her because of her views, her support of Caitlyn Jenner, and the problematic views that she has on trans women in motorsport. It's disappointing with someone who has that platform to hear those views and to support something like that. Especially, I mean, we talked about this when Caitlyn Jenner bought the W Series team. So, there's disappointment in the person, but as a move for women in motorsports, very happy. 10 out of 10. It shows progress. It shows more opportunity. So I'm happy about that.
That's fair. I think it's interesting in terms of Jamie Chadwick having to, like, you know, moving to the United States, being someone who has been shown as the best woman, I guess, not in a major racing series, or kind of can't get out of the W Series basically because no one wants to either fund her or sponsor her. She is choosing to leave basically Europe and come to North America because
Yeah.
Andretti is actually going like, okay, fine, here's some money, we're going to sponsor you and you're going to come drive for us.
Yeah, well, there's nothing left to prove, and this is a step up because W Series is supposed to be what, equivalent to Formula 4,
Formula 3.
Formula 3. So you go under the North America, you go to the series underneath the top North American open wheel series. That's a step up.
And like I saw people on the internet basically trying to be like, oh, IndyCar is like F2 equivalent. Okay, no, IndyCar is definitely above F2 in terms of performance and car, and Indy Lights is probably between, like, you have F1 at the top. IndyCar is probably like between F1 and Formula 2, and then Indy Lights, I refuse to call it NXT, is between Formula 2 and Formula 3. So it is a step up in terms of performance and speed and everything. And I think the Indy Lights cars don't have power steering like the Indy cars. So they're more physical to drive. So it'll be interesting to see how she does in terms of just being in a different car.
Yeah, I mean, every single time we've seen a driver make the switch, they tend to need a little bit of time to figure it out, but I'm sure she'll turn it around and figure out the car, and we'll see how she does. But it's definitely a better move to get out of Europe because I mean, with the W Series, I think you go into it and then where do you go from there? I think they made the W Series as like a, hey, look what we're doing for women. This is a great opportunity. And then they didn't really think of like, okay, what now? What happens beyond that?
Yeah, it's true. And like North America is I feel way more used to women being drivers than they are in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's been so many, and so many like really famous ones.
Well, like let's just look at like Danica Patrick off the start, like one right
Mhm.
there. Simona Di Silvestro still races in over here. Catherine Legg was one that raced for a long time back in the day. Janet Guthrie, I think, was one of the pioneering ones, really. Like
Pippa Man.
Pippa Mann. Like there's so many women, and even looking up and down, like usually the Road to Indy ladder. Every series usually at least has one woman in there. So I just feel like coming over here, it's not a big deal for Jamie Chadwick to actually come across the pond, I guess you would say.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Well, what's she gonna do in Europe? Win W Series for a fourth time?
Like she has nothing to prove in that series.
No, she's won it all
No.
3 years, and I don't think it's been particularly close in any of the 3 years. Definitely not this year's. So,
Yeah.
may as well
I'm-
give her something. Give her a new challenge.
I'll be interested to see how she does, because everyone gives Jamie Chadwick the whole, oh, well, you're just facing like a bunch of women, basically. And it's like, you're not actually facing real competition. If Jamie Chadwick actually comes out and wins or is like a top 5 driver in Indy Lights next year, I think she deserves all the respect she gets. Because like, she's actually proving like, no, I am a good driver. I've gotten to do stuff. And then if she moves on from Indy Lights and actually gets into IndyCar, does that then prove the W Series as a success?
No. Because I don't think that move for Jamie Chadwick is exactly what the W Series was created for, or what the intention was
Agreed.
behind it.
That is something that's like years out to project, right?
Yeah. So, like, I think it was a better move for her career, because I think that if she, like, she could have, her career would have gone to die in the W Series, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think she really, like, it's not just the fact that like she needs you there for her career, but like this is the make or break point of her career.
Mhm.
Like people act like she's like this young up and coming driver. She's 24. You know, like if she's deciding now that she's okay, fine, North America might be the place for me to actually make it, then I understand the driver side of things of like, okay, this is my shot. This is where I have to go, because you could stay in Europe, stay in the W Series. You might get into Formula 3. If you don't even compete like top 5 in Formula 3, your career's done anyway. So you might as well take the jump to Indy Lights. I feel like it really was the only open option that like really has progress there for you.
As an open wheel, yeah.
Yeah, as an open
Maybe
wheel.
if she did, like, endurance was the only other option, really, other than returning to
Yeah, that's
W
fair.
Series. So it will be interesting. I mean, we get a close look at her now that she'll, well, depending on what, does NXT have it? Sorry, Indy Lights have its series schedule out yet? But they usually come to Toronto, so.
They will. Oh, actually, they didn't last year though.
They didn't last year, but in previous years before COVID, they would come to Toronto. So I would like to imagine they would be coming back to Toronto again.
Let me see.
Searching Indy
think
NXT is annoying.
Yeah, don't just search NXT.
No,
IndyCar NXT.
Indy NXT. I think they do have it out. They will not be in Toronto.
Cowards.
Boo.
Yeah, they're not coming to Toronto.
Well, that's unfortunate.
What they're doing too in Detroit.
I wonder if teams, for some reason, I wonder if the Indy Lights teams can afford or just choose to keep the budget down to not travel to Toronto.
It's definitely a budget thing, even though they're sideline up right that they're in Detroit
Yeah, they're in Detroit
right
twice.
after. So,
Yeah, they do a doubleheader in
Yeah.
Detroit.
They're doing a double header in Laguna Seca too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And well,
oh no, Toronto's
Indianapolis.
a lot later. Never mind.
Yeah, because Toronto is oh shoot.
Yeah, they are following in the main series to Mid Ohio to kick off July. Then they just don't come north
Yeah,
after that.
the next race that they have is in Iowa. So
We also had this week, or was it this last week? I guess. Chip Ganassi announced another driver signing for next year. They're bringing on Marcus Armstrong. He raced in Formula 2 last year. Again, the road to F1 becoming a good road to IndyCar, it seems.
yeah,
And
more often a road to
he will be
IndyCar it
doing,
seems.
yeah, exactly. He'll be doing the road courses for the 11 car for Chip Ganassi. That is definitely a replacement for Alex Palou, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like, this is the guy who's like, okay, when Palou's gone next year, you're filling in. We got Marcus Ericsson, Scott Dixon, the Kiwi. Let's get Marcus the Kiwi. Easy pick.
Makes sense.
Yep.
And then if Dixon ever decides to retire, maybe you have your next Dixon. I'm not comparing it. I'm just literally going off of your New Zealander.
Fair enough. So he'll be great, never win the 500?
Yes.
Versus, I guess, Marcus Ericsson, who's won the 500 but isn't great.
Yep.
Hey, he's not bad.
I love Marcus Ericsson, okay? He's one of my favorites.
My favorite on the grid. Actually, I don't really have a favorite. My favorite was Grosjean, and he was disappointing.
Get used to it. Aren't you not used to it with all your fandoms of everything?
You just keep picking the wrong things, it seems.
Fair enough. Like picking the wrong microphone.
It's an Amazon special.
Yeah, I can tell. We'll get you a new one. Okay, so that's pretty much all the news. Let's have the fun part of the episode where we kind of talk about the last year. So I want everyone's favorite race of last year.
Any series?
Any series, any event. What was your favorite race?
Part of me will say Toronto, just being able to go to an actual race again. That was great.
That's a good answer.
You know what? Maybe I'll just stick with that. I'll stick with the easy answer.
I think that's a great answer.
Going back at track.
Yeah, mine was gonna be Montreal, the Montreal GP, because I went and it was super great. It was super fun to be back in that kind of atmosphere after a few years. So yeah, that was my favorite this year. And the racing wasn't half bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I will go with the I'll go with the Marcus Ericsson hype train. I'll say the Indy 500 this year.
Because
Fair
you
enough.
won money. That helps.
Exactly. Yeah, the betting really helps. So I would also was gonna say the 24-hour Rolex. That was a fun race this year. I don't know if you remember, like towards the end of that race, how hectic it was.
Oh yeah, no, that was a pretty good race.
So
I'm interested
that
to
was a
see the
runner-up.
Rolex this year.
I love the Rolex every year.
I feel like it's going to be really good this year to see the new cars kind of debut, and yeah, it's going to be a good year. There's a couple anniversaries coming up. I know Le Mans is coming up on its 100 years in 2023, so
That'll be a fun one. That's a big one. Does anyone have a least favorite race from 2022?
Actually, that's pretty easy, but I want to see if you guys think of it as well.
France.
Not the one
That
I
was gonna
thinking of,
that
but
was
yes.
gonna be mine. Yes, Taylor. Yes.
I hate that race so much.
Oh my god, I know.
So boring.
It's gone. It's gone.
Okay.
We don't have to think about it
Thank
anymore.
goodness
It's off
it's
the
gone.
calendar.
It's just
They
like
got rid of it.
Binotto. It's gone. It's gone.
Oh gosh.
He
poor
can't hurt
Pease.
you anymore.
I know. He can't like make me cry in my sleep anymore. Same thing as the French race. Every single weekend when it was on, I was like, I hate this race so much. Why am I sitting and watching this crap?
And it got even worse when Leclerc crashed the lead.
I just don't even want to talk about it.
My favorite
Stupid
part,
race.
My favorite part of that Leclerc crashing from the lead is someone made a TikTok, and it was, can you take off a plane in the amount of runoff that Leclerc crashed in? And the answer was yes. So
Okay, Steven, what's your least favorite?
I just want to put
my
it
least
that also
favorite.
talks how bad that track is that you can take a plane and take off in the fucking runoff. But anyway, sorry, Steven.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say I thought this would be a little more front of mind because it was a little more recent. Japan.
Oh, that was a disappointing
That was just such a shit show for the FIA. You had Gasly, getting and the Gasly and the tractor incident. You had the whole, did Max win? Oh no, he didn't. Oh yes, he did. Oh no, he didn't. Oh yes,
Oh,
he did.
yeah.
He did. He did. Okay, he did win the world championship because we're just throwing all our ideas out the window and continuing with vague rules. So it just
I'm not sure
What
how
a
I
shit show.
forgot how bad the Japan was, and I remember how bad the French one was.
oh
I think it's just you
And,
didn't stay up
you
for
know,
the Japanese one.
yeah,
That's why.
I stayed up
Oh,
and
yeah.
and then went to
That's
bed
fair.
5 minutes before because it was 4 a.m.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
bad. Yeah,
Steven
excited
took one for the
knowing.
team.
yeah, I can see why that's a bad one for you, man.
That's the one that literally kept me up at night.
Mm.
Oof.
So yeah, that's the easy one for me.
Okay, another 2022 question. What was your favorite storyline of the year?
Ooh.
And all the new stuff that happened. Like, I'll give you mine first. My favorite was the McLaren just collecting all the drivers.
Yeah, that was a mess.
And the whole meme of driver announced 10 minutes later. But wait, actually,
There's more.
because it was Pelot that did that first, and then Piastri did it, and then all the drivers started commenting on their own driver announcement, being like, but wait, I did agree to this. And it's like, God, okay. By like the sixth person to do it, it got old real fast, but at the moment it was fun.
And the entire time, Zach Brown's just sitting in the back like Thanos, collecting drivers for his Infinity Gauntlet.
His Infinity car.
Yes, his Infinity car,
So was Zach Brown the Thanos of F1?
basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, he basically snapped away half of the other teams, so, and made them replace all their drivers. So,
I want you to Photoshop Thanos and Zach Brown together. Someone please do that.
Probably. I'm sure someone already did, but
Probably.
I can.
What was your favorite moment? Your favorite moment, or the moment that just made you go, "Oh shit"?
I could reuse the Pierre thing because that was very much oh shit.
Yeah, hold on. Are we supposed to be also doing our storylines?
Oh, did you have more? If you have more, go ahead. I thought you were agreeing with mine.
No, my favorite storyline was Alonso just like taking off and being like, "See you, so long,
Oh.
farewell," and then the whole Otmar being like, "Yeah, we couldn't reach him," and then he like tweets like, "No, I'm here."
That is a good one.
That was one of my. I think that was my favorite. It's just Alonso being like Alonso. It's just I don't give a rat's ass.
Alonso's general
out.
dickishness towards the end of the year was also just really fun.
Yeah, just I think Alonso is just my favorite storyline this year. But favorite moment?
I'm surprised no one said Vettel as a favorite storyline.
Oh, Vettel.
Mm.
That might be my favorite moment. Just like how well everything was done for his last race and just everybody having the Donka sip. And when they all took the track, like they all ran the track with him on the last
Yeah, that was cute.
race. That was really cute.
Him and Daniel both scored points in their last races.
Yeah, it's fair.
Favorite storyline though is tough. Can I count how competitive the NASCAR series was?
Yes,
Like how
that's a
we
great
had
one.
Yeah.
20
good
different
one.
winners.
Yeah, that is a
And
really good
we
one.
we had to kick winners, well, not kick winners out, but Kurt Busch would have forced someone out of the playoffs if he hadn't been concussed, which we're not going to mention that part in the favorite part of the cars being competitive.
That was
they
that
are
was going to be
putting-
the next ugly part of the competition, so we'll get to that one, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Maybe we could say if like for storyline, I guess that one overall could just be like the new car for NASCAR.
The new
worked.
car is competitive and works very well.
Yeah.
And hopefully that continues and it's not a one-off. We'll see.
So yeah, favorite moment or oh shit moment.
Favorite moment. Oh.
Or like most memorable moment, I would say.
There's it's tough to
There's
think
a
back
lot.
and
There's a lot of
watch
it. There's a lot of things to think about for that one.
I'm just thinking about how much racing we've watched this year. It's hard to narrow it down to one. What was yours again, Sean?
I haven't said mine yet.
Oh, you haven't said yours.
I have a couple, but I was waiting to hear if you would pick any of them, and I'm taking.
You know
another
what?
one.
You know what? I'll go with an F1 moment, and it was Mick getting to lead like half a lap. It was like, yes, some freedom for Mick. And then Haas immediately said, no, you don't get to go there. Back of the pack.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
he climbed to the top of the hole. He just didn't climb out of the hole.
What's that meme where it's like nope, back down you go?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was
Yeah.
making a Batman reference, but yeah, same shit.
That's fair. I will say for me, most memorable moment I will say is the Chastain wall ride.
Oh, that's a
okay,
good
you know what?
one.
Yes, that's a
Something we have not
That's a good
seen,
one.
and that was absolutely nuts. And what was just a highlight, I feel, of the NASCAR season.
yeah. The fallout from that might actually be like the best moment. This
Oh
year.
yeah,
Just all the video stitches of, did he just do that? Yeah.
yeah. The every angle kind of compilations that everyone put together. Yeah.
Denny Hamlin. I guess we're out. Yep.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall afterwards with some of those drivers.
Oh yeah.
Even with their teams to be like, what the fuck?
That's what NASCAR needs to steal from F1 is a cool down room.
Ooh,
I would have loved that.
that would be fun.
You have Chris Bell. Man, I just won 2 straight to get into the finals. Let's go. And I'm not even the biggest story here. There's no cameras over here.
No. Taylor, favorite moment?
I said mine.
Oh, you did? Oh, yes, the Seb one. Yes.
Yeah,
That
was a really
the ugly of the season.
The ugly.
Yes, your least favorite part of the 2022 motorsports year.
Am I allowed to say how bad Ferrari was?
No,
Like strategy
that
wise?
is an absolutely great one.
I would say especially towards the end of the year, ugly, like just ugly. Didn't know what they were doing at all.
No, I think that's fair. That is a very good ugly for the 2022 season. Steven, got anything?
Well, I already mentioned the Kurt Busch part.
The
And,
NASCAR's concussing?
again, yeah, and then so Busch was the big one, but there was also Alex Bowman missing time. I think I'm trying to remember. There was someone else who was possibly missing time, but then didn't. I can't remember who that was. It might have been Byron. Anywho, that. But I will also tack on, and it sort of ties into Taylor's, which is like the last 85% of the F1 season in terms of the championship. Because it went from, if you remember, the first 3 races, we were like, holy crap. We thought it was going to end up somewhat similar to how NASCAR was, where it was like, we don't know who's going to win this week. Who could possibly do it? Oh, are we going to get some surprise winners down the road? And then it was just off a cliff.
Yeah.
And Max won everything.
Yeah.
Which, amazing. But also with how it started versus how it finished, it was like, oh, that's a bit of a letdown from a championship race standpoint.
I will probably go somewhere also similar to you two, but I was going to say porpoising.
Oh, yeah.
The porpoising
that's a
first
fair
half
one.
of the year and the whole, like, remember, what was it, Hamilton after Baku getting out looking like an old man?
Yeah.
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 The whole porpoising thing, I'm happy that got sorted, but yeah, that was a rough part of the year.
Those are basically the first half of the year.
That's fair. Final one of the 2022 year. What driver did you like more than you did at the start of the year? And which driver do you dislike more than you did at the start of the year?
Who do I like more and who do I dislike?
So which driver did you be like, oh, I actually like him more? Which driver did you like, maybe I don't like this person as much?
Ooh. I think I would go with, in terms of somebody I don't like as much, Russell.
Ooh, okay.
And somebody who
Do,
What do I like more?
Sometimes
like,
you-
okay, hold on. Can I ask a question? Can I phone a friend? No, I'm kidding. So the person I like more has to be someone I disliked?
No, just someone you didn't like
No,
as
just-
much. Just someone you're like, oh, maybe I don't hate
You
this
went-
person as much. Or maybe I'm kind of rooting for them when I didn't think I'd be.
You went from
Stroll.
hate to... Okay.
Okay, interesting.
I didn't like hate him. I just didn't like necessarily. He wasn't really on my radar. It was kind of like meh. But
No,
I'm
that's
like,
fair.
you know what? I'm rooting for you.
Fair enough.
One that I like more and one that I like less. That's tough. You know what? I'll go as a like more. I kind of want to say David Malukas
Okay.
That's fair.
because we trashed on him and he ended up doing
No, we did.
pretty well.
We did. We were not that high on Lucas going in. Yeah. That's a good one, Steven.
And he's not like, he wasn't a complete asshole. Not that he was beforehand or anything, but it was like, no, this guy isn't anything special. Why is he here? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, he's actually not that bad. He was second in the rookie race behind Lundgaard only by not even 20 points. So that'll be my, yeah, you know what? I kind of hope he continues on that path and continues to do better. Like less, I'll go with a very late entry and say Hulkenberg, but that's mostly in defense of Mick. They picked the wrong German.
Fair.
That is fair.
Very fair.
Okay, for my like more.
Or actually, sorry, I won't say Hulkenberg. I'll say Steiner because Hulkenberg didn't. Hulkenberg took a seat he didn't think he probably had. Steiner's the one who's like, yeah,
Fair
screw
enough.
Mick.
That's fair.
And I really liked Gunther.
A guy I found myself cheering for by the end of the year. Felix Rosenqvist.
Yeah.
The guy who mid-year looked like he was out, going to be kicked off to Formula E.
Yep.
raced his ass off the second half to keep his seat. And it's like, you know what? I got to respect the hell out of that.
That's a great
Yeah.
pick. Because, he couldn't be bumped out of the top 10 for
No,
the second
he had a
half.
strong second half.
It was top 10 or don't finish at all.
A guy who I've kind of not started liking as much, Yuki.
Oh, why? I'm surprised you say that.
Because he hasn't been good.
Okay. That's fair.
That
there was
entire team was...
But there was a lot of
bad.
hype of Yuki in the first year, and like he started to show some pace, and it just seemed that he was so irrelevant. I would say, like, because I love Yuki, but I would say I like him less because I can't even think of a time that I actually like thought of him in the second half of that year. You know?
It's very fair.
Yeah. He was non-existent.
He just
But
wasn't
again-
there. It's not like,
Yeah.
In fairness, both of them were just nowhere to be seen.
just completely apathetic towards them.
That team was hot garbage.
Again, if you're apathetic towards them, isn't that worse than not even hating them altogether?
Yeah.
So we'll go with that.
I don't hate that pick.
Okay. I feel like Taylor's about to pass out.
Probably. I mean,
Okay.
we're past her bedtime.
Very much so. It's 8:00.
It's not past my bedtime. I'm not a toddler.
No, but you're an old lady. You always say that.
Yeah, 9. Give me one more hour.
See, she's getting cranky, Steven.
I'm not crazy.
She doesn't have her cheap reality TV to watch.
It's
What?
not cheap. It's well produced.
Are we talking about F1?
Sorry.
Facts.
But, is there anything else to talk about, guys?
No, I think that's pretty much it for this year. Unless, something happens.
Yep. So,
We can do a quick hitter if in
yeah,
doubt.
if something major happens. If not, our plan is to take a bit of a break over the holidays and over really when nothing is happening in terms of motorsports. So we'll be off for the next few weeks, and then we'll come back in January to get prepped for Rolex. And then after that, we'll kind of continue on, I feel like, back to normal.
Yeah.
Though we kind of discussed this in our pre-show stuff. Watch our other stuff because there might be like a best of if I decide to not be lazy.
And
And
I
no.
wasn't gonna I wasn't gonna mention it, Steven, because I'm not making promises I can't keep. And you just
That's
said
what
if
I said
I'm,
might be.
and then I
It
wouldn't even
might.
mention it, because if you're saying you might, then you're not gonna do it, you lazy fuck.
No, because now I've put it out there and now I have a responsibility. That way I will actually kick my ass. I also have 2 days off that I don't know what I'm going to do with. So,
I got a whole week.
So do I.
all right. So we got, okay. So
Hell,
shit,
sucks to be you,
two-
man.
Yeah. You two can do that shit then.
Oh crap, fine.
Well, I
got
can
more
learn
time
how to
than I do.
edit videos. Can learn. I'll figure it out.
We can talk about it. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to this episode. Thank you for listening for this year, and we will be back next year in 2023 with all new episodes. Thank you, and goodbye.
Thanks for listening to Spare Parts. Remember to follow the show on Twitter at sparepartspod and the hosts at Stephen Clary, at Sean Cavarella, and at Tate Moore.